Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of My Bucket List Day. So today we're going to face another slide out issue. Yep, I've got another slide out that failed. It's just frustrating, these Shwintec systems. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at that and what caused the failure. And you're going to be shocked to find out what we discovered, that it was more than just the Shwintec failure. There's another issue that had caused that. You're going to find that out at the end of the video. But before we do that, let's watch this intro and we'll be right back. Well, yes, you see I'm standing in front of a slide. I'm having another slide issue. Yeah, I know, it never ends. But this slide actually is working fine. This is the one I had replaced. The problem I'm having is on this opposite side where the sofa is. And we can see the pattern of the three rollers here. But this last roller, look what's happening. It's chewing up, I don't know if you can see that, the wood. And what's happening is the top on this side I'm having to push out manually. It's like it's not grabbing, it's floating or something's on it. And then on this side, this is not going in all the way or coming out all the way. It's hanging up, so it's like it's cattywampus. Here we are back inside, and this is the slide that I'm having the issue with. And as I mentioned, the roller on this side over here is the one that seems to be gouging on the wood underneath, as I just showed you. And what appears to be happening when you take a look at it is that this side is lower than that side on the bottom here. So what we believe we need to do is we have to basically figure out why it's lower and raise this side up so the slide becomes square again, because it's out of square. Not quite sure how we're going to do that yet, but before we can do anything, we got to get to those rollers and we got to take this couch out. So we got to remove the couch, and then we have access to be able to see underneath there and see where those rollers are and measure whether it's level or not, or what we need to do to fix that. So the first thing we're going to do is just take this couch out of the slide and move it over to the other side of the living room here, and so we have room to work. So let's get that done. So as you can see, we've removed the couch and put it over to the side here. It wasn't that hard, just a few screws. It's amazing how easy it is to put these couches in and out. And now we're inspecting the rollers. There's three rollers on here, as we've already pointed out. And while the one that Mark is working on here, we're taking the screws off to see if we can inspect it to see if it's broken or things like that. But we're having some difficulty removing it. Just the pressure on there is just so tight. In addition to that, we've noticed that the gap between the steel plate that the rollers are mounted to and the bottom floor of the slide is greater on the left side than it is on the right side. And it's like the right side has sunk down a little bit. Not quite sure why. It seems that way, but it has. So we are exploring different ways where we can either shim up the roller or do something else to bring it back to level. So now we're going to put the screws back in the rollers, and we're going to try to jack up this corner and see if we can see a problem with that roller, because we can't see it with it down on it like now. So let's do that. Mark is going to put the screws all back in. Okay, so we're going to jack up the corner of the slide a bit.
I know it's moved a little bit. I just don't know how much it's moving.
Yeah, I can free spin this roller.
Can you? Yeah.
Not this one though.
I can't do this one, which is weird. I say that. I can't tell if my fingers are spinning it or I'm sliding off of it. No, I'm spinning that roller.
It is spinning? Good. If it's spinning now, the next obvious question is, does it feel like it's sunk down in the wood? Or that the roller bent or bracket's bent?
See, it rides. I'm trying to see my finger. All right, there's that rubber I'm pushing out, so it's right there.
Yeah.
And the roller, I feel the lip. The lip feels the same as these. When he's saying sink down, I'm assuming you mean sink down into this?
Yes. That's what I understood, is that the plate it's sitting on.
Yeah.
Because the bracket, I mean, there's material behind the bracket. You know, where it's sitting.
That's why you're seeing the carpet. They screwed the roller right on top of the carpet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm freewheeling this one here.
Yeah, this one I can do with that little pressure off of it that we have off of it outside.
Oh, it's two separate rollers.
Is it?
There's a seam in the middle of it. And they roll independently.
But I knew I was moving this one with the light.
Yeah, see, and it doesn't feel like it sank.
No, that's why the lip, as far as like the metal you feel right here,
yeah,
feels the same as them.
Yeah.
It don't feel like it's went anywhere. Would be the,
Logic tells me one of two things. We shim this roller up, you know, take the bracket up and just put a couple little shims under there and screw it back down. Or we get that plastic we talked about, some skid plates, and raise it up. If we shim it up, it raises the slide. And that's the issue, is the slide won't go in and out because it's dropped on this corner.
I'm just trying to get to that and do that. Or for the hell of it, try, it sounds weird, that skid plate on this roller.
Yeah.
And then see how it operates. But that's going to raise it the same way.
Yes, it will. If I put 1/8 inch or...
Don't do the other two. Do this one first.
Right.
And see what it does.
Well, that's why I was thinking of shimming it. I've got those plastic shims.
Yeah.
And we could just slide a shim off each end of it and raise it up and then see if it goes in and out by itself.
That's what it's going to be.
He says when you take that off, you'll be able to see if the roller has sunk.
Yeah, in there.
He said because this metal plate, there's apparently some 2x2 or something screwed all the way across on the inside here that this metal plate is sitting on. And he says he's seen sometimes that it's dropped.
Yeah.
Which means that wood dropped in there. But we don't see any evidence of that being the case.
Not out of here, I don't.
No.
Not with the lip feeling the same as them do.
Yeah.
Push down in the carpet.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like this is bent down.
No.
On that side.
No, this is,
because it's very square here, and it doesn't feel like this is bent down.
Yeah.
Like he suggested it might be.
Oh.
Okay, there's the center roller. You can see that easy. Yeah, it's rolling fine.
Problem now.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking here is there's a 1/2 inch between where the screw is and the end of the plate. We don't have to take the screws out. Just loosen the screws up, put a shim there on each side, and then screw it tight.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, try to shove something in there.
Yeah. I got plenty of those plastic shims. We'll just cut the ends off with 2 of them and stick those under there and then screw it back down, and then we'll stay lined up that way.
They definitely turn free.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't look like it's damaged or bent or anything. It looks perfectly fine.
It does to me too.
But why did it clearly drop?
So as we watch Mark put together or cut up some pieces of plastic shims to put under the rollers, I'll give you a heads up. Stay tuned, because you're going to discover that we discovered there are more issues than just this roller sinking down. In fact, we had actually found or discovered a major issue in the Shwintec Slide system, and we're going to talk about that. So stay tuned for that.
This might be different.
So both ends in the middle now, right?
Yeah, both ends in the middle. Oh yeah, so I can now filling that hump is way more substantial here now than what it is here.
Yeah.
So this end is definitely up, whatever this is together, which is probably an 1/8 inch.
All right, well, let's take the jack down and let's see if it'll slide. All right, let's go. Okay, it's all the way in. Okay, coming out. Nope, 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 nope. Same problem. So after all of that, we still have an issue with the slide, primarily on this front side. It's still popping. So Mark believes that the shoe up on the top, right up there, has broken or sheared. So fortunately, I've got lots of Shwintec parts from all the other slides that have been replaced. And so we've got the Shwintec hardware store right here. And so now we're going to jack it up and take that side off and see if we can fix that a little better. So now how to spin the screws off these tracks. And then we'll back that column back out and take it out and rebuild it. So as you can see, I've had to have a lot of Shwintec slide work done, and I've kept all of the spare parts. Well, not all, but most of the mechanical and motor parts, some tracks. Over there in the truck are some rods, or the drive rods. All the gears in the bags. I've got, what, 4 motors. So, yes, Shwintec, you need to figure out a better way. This system's not working. In fact, there's another company that has a slide mechanism that is far superior to Shwintec, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, so stay tuned for that. So, and I bring this up because if you have to replace your Shwintec slide, I'm going to suggest you don't even bother replacing with Shwintec. You move to this other product, this other vendor, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. So what did we discover here, Mark? What was the problem?
The gibs, the whole block on the bottom, were completely gone.
Completely.
All the rivets were gone, so it was loose, floating. Nothing there.
That would cause a problem.
And the upper shoe on the upper block was broke also.
So once again, we're dealing with the incredible quality of the Shwintec slide system.
You can say that.
Obviously, we're being facetious. So hopefully this will solve the problem.
Yeah, both of them.
And fortunately, we have all the spare parts, as you guys saw earlier.
That was a big help.
Yeah, that's a big help.
That was a huge help.
So we're going to hook Mark up with a couple of the spare parts I've got because he says they're hard to get.
It's just time consuming.
Time consuming to get it, yes.
Time consuming to get.
So that way he can make a customer happy and life a little easier for himself.
I always forget something. Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, that one there, you can see how messed up it is.
And apparently your cotter pin from your wheel.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
So the wheel fell off.
The cotter pin is not there.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. I had that spare block, so we just replaced the block.
Yeah. Shoe, block,
Shoe, yeah, sorry.
All of it.
So now Mark's gonna put all this back together. It's always something with this stuff. I just can't take it anymore. No, just joking. It's just part of RV life. So I'm not going to film him putting all this back together. I think you guys have seen this throughout all my other videos. If you want to see more of how you put these on, I'll point you to a video of another video I have done on this, so you can see how it's all done. All right, so as you can see, we've got the couch back in, all back in place. The slide is working, so hooray for that. However, we have figured out why it is breaking, or what caused it to break. So we were surprised to discover a couple other issues, and we figured out what has caused the problem. And that while we have fixed it and it's working fine now, it's probably not going to last because there is an issue we discovered. Now, we're not going to talk about that today. We are going to talk about it in next week's episode, which will be a continuation or part 2 of this. And it's going to be all about your frame, your RV frame, and how do you know if you've got a twisted or bent frame on your RV. Now, I'm not saying that is what's happening here, but I just wanted to figure out how can I tell whether or not my frame is bent. So did a little research, came up with a few ways on how to figure this out, and we're going to share that in next week's video. In addition to that, we reached out to the manufacturer, Grand Design, and told them about our issue, and we discovered that there is a kind of a known fix that they didn't share with me. Not sure why, but I asked them why they hadn't done that, and they hadn't responded yet. So we're going to give them a chance this week to respond to that, and we'll have that in next week's video as well. So before we go, I promised to tell you about another product out there that is kind of a replacement for Shwintec, and it's Vroom. And it's a company that I've never worked with or don't know anything about, but Jared over at All About RVs, his channel, great channel, you got to go check it out. And here's a little video of his that I'm referencing here. He had that installed in his rig and speaks pretty highly of it, and he'll explain all the different reasons why, and he's usually got very good advice, so I'm going to kind of trust what Jared is saying here. And if you ever have to replace your Shwintec Slide, just scrap it and go ahead and get this Vroom system. Here's a little bit about what that Vroom system is, and we'll be right back.
Something completely different. So we found Vroom slide systems in Tucson. And they've come up with a system that was everything that we were looking for that fits inside of the same footprint that the Shwintec system did. So when you step back and you kind of look at the system, they would look similar from a distance, but when you look into it and look at the different components, there's going to be some very large differences in there. But the big reason we wanted to switch was because of quality and longevity. We wanted something that was going to be stronger, more reliable, with a smooth operation, less maintenance, and something that we can actually pull in if we were to have a problem in a mechanical way. And this has 2 ways to be able to pull in this slide if we were to have a problem. Now, if we were to compare the gears, you can see that the Shwintec gear is much, much smaller than the Vroom gear. The Vroom gear is much larger with a deeper track, giving you a lot better mesh in those gears and a very strong system. Now, this is going to come into play on how those gears go together, but the depth of those is really a robust system. There's also a difference in the U-channel that goes vertically from top to bottom. The Vroom system actually allows this mechanism to float in there, so it takes away any of the inconsistencies that you might have built into the RV. Let's be honest, these RVs aren't perfect. They're not always level and plumb and all the things that we would hope them to be. So that actually helps out a lot because these RVs aren't built perfect. That's why we're swapping out the slide mechanism.
Okay, that's a pretty cool system, isn't it? The next time I have to do something with these Shwintec slides, I'm going to go ahead and go with that Vroom system. But I'm going to worry about that should that time come again. Now, in the meantime, don't forget that next week we're going to have a continuation of this video. We're going to talk about how to test to see if your frame is bent or broke or broken welds or things of that nature. So we'll go over that, so stay tuned for that, as well as give you an update of what Grand Design had in response to the issues that we're having, not only with the slide we just repaired, but all the other slides that we've had to work on. And you're going to be shocked when you find out what some of the reasons, or what reason at least we discovered, caused all this. Well, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Don't forget, I really want to know what's on your bucket list, so go to this link right here and fill out the form and tell me what's on your bucket list. I just may select your bucket list item, reach out to you, and let's go do your bucket list. That should be a lot of fun. As always, be the Click Monster. Don't forget to hit the little like, subscribe, and ring that little bell to let you know when I'm releasing another video. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and make it a great bucket list day. Goodbye.